Welcome back to another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Pete Bercich. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, fresh off their first victory, welcome the Cleveland Browns to US Bank Stadium. Now, these Browns have a list of names that are pretty familiar, right? Kevin Stefanski, you have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham Jr., Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett. But I think it's Baker Mayfield who's the linchpin of this offense. We're going to do a dive on Baker Mayfield, and we're also going to take a quick look at that Cleveland running game. So one of the first things that stands out is some of the amazing plays that Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. make together. This is a great example of a long third down that they had against the Chicago Bears. You're going to see Beckham in the slot one-on-one with the nickel, and right at this point, you're going to see the safety is standing right here. He's ready to hit Odell if he comes across the middle of this field. Knows where the open area is, pivots on the outside, and that ball is delivered right on that shoulder. What a perfect throw by Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. Reading the coverage, making a tight throw. Okay, another great example of this duo in action. You'll see Odell Beckham Jr. down here on the bottom. And when Mayfield gets to the top of his drop, they're shoulder to shoulder. Beckham's covered. And you look over here, Mayfield's already starting to throw that football. He knows exactly where he needs to deliver this ball down the field. And this is a good 40-yard throw. It's an amazing combination of timing and accuracy as this goes right to the back shoulder. That is almost impossible to defend. Okay, another great example of Baker Mayfield, in this case, reading the coverage, seeing what he has, and getting this ball to, let's not fall asleep on this guy, Donovan Peoples-Jones, another really good wide receiver. Surveys what he has in front. Now, at this moment, he knows exactly what coverage he's getting. These two short routes by the wide receivers are going to hold the underneath coverage from the Bears, and there's this big cover two gap that you get between the wide receiver and the safety. As soon as Donovan Peoples-Jones gets behind, he throws that football. Perfect throw. Another very, very difficult route and coverage to defend. Okay, how about in the red zone? And Baker Mayfield's not afraid to use his tight ends. And you're going to see here, this is something you see all across the NFL. You're playing a middle open coverage deep in the back of the back end. This is the red zone, so the safeties are all in here. These boxes get tighter. This is a perfect example. Mayfield's already throwing the football. He knows exactly where he needs to put this football over the top of the linebackers, inside of the safety, and he just threads this needle with the perfect throw for the touchdown. That's just a great red zone route and a great red zone throw. So Mayfield gets Hooper involved in the red zone. Well, then there's Rashard Higgins. He says, hey, what about me? Well, this is another great example of the right route versus the right coverage. As the two receivers get up the field, you're seeing, again, this wide receiver pulling the corner out of the zone. It opens up this huge area. Mayfield's already beginning to throw this football, knows exactly where he wants to put it, and the tight end runs the perfect route to get the ball in and out. It's a quick 15, 20 yards right there. Again, identifying coverages, throwing accurate footballs, another great play by Baker Mayfield. All right, so we've seen some of these great throws, but there's kind of another side to Baker Mayfield, and this is the area where he really needs to improve, and I think the Vikings can take advantage of this. Nice play action deep down the middle of the field. He has an opportunity here. We've seen this before. The big open area, Odell Beckham Jr., lots of space between the safety, the linebacker. At the top of his drop, Mayfield can see this, but doesn't pull the trigger. And we're going to see this kind of over and over again. He'll get to the top of his drop. There's a guy that's open, and he just wants to pull this thing down and run with it. Now, he's a great scrambler, but I'll take that 30-yard completion over a 5-yard scramble any day. All right, another example of Mayfield leaving some meat on the bone. You might have seen this play as a highlight of a scramble, but what you didn't see is what was down the field. Donovan Peoples-Jones up on top. You'll see Mayfield gets to the top of his drop, starts to scramble. Look at this. This is the definition of wide open. Mayfield has his feet set. He's looking, and for some reason, he just decides, I'm not going to pull a trigger. Spins out. Great move. Great scramble, by the way, but get the ball downfield. He has wide open receivers that, for some reason, he just doesn't want to get the ball to him. And even in the short passing game, there are opportunities there that just aren't always taken. He's looking to the front side on this play. On the front. This is the same route that we saw Peoples-Jones catch earlier, that little cover two beater. That's not there. He redirects his vision the other way, And this wide receiver he's wide open, but he just pulls that thing down and decides to run with it. Yes, it's 5 or 6 to the positive, but he's leaving opportunities on the table for his wide receivers. Now, missing opportunities in the passing game is a little less painful when you have this running back duo of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And we're going to see what this Cleveland Brown running game is all about right here. They'll put a guy in motion, and this is a Stefanski special, right? Demetric Felton, he's their Percy Harvin kind of guy. He's the guy that gets people looking elsewhere. You'll see that once this ball is snapped, the motion by Felton is going to pull 2 defenders from the Bears out of this play, and the result is a big run for Kareem Hunt. Down blocking, man-to-man, down, kick it out, right? Hunt on the outside, great cutback right there. About 12 or 13 to the good, just like that. An outstanding running game. Now, one of the problems that this counter power man-type blocking scheme gives you is that every guy up front has to be in their gap. And if you don't hit your gap, Kareem Hunt is good enough to take it to the next level. Right here, you're going to see the guard pull. It's going to be down blocking and then a kick out right here. And they get everybody man to man. And look at this gap. When the 3 technique decides to run outside, it opens this gap up, and Kareem Hunt is not going to miss it. He's already through this gap, and this play is just starting, and he's north and south, doesn't break down. He's trying to get it all the way to the end zone. All right, another great example of this power running game. I mean, yeah, we want some tight ends. We got tight ends. We've got 8 guys on this side of the football. The Bears know where they want to run it. They don't care. Again, counter power. You're getting down blocking by the entire front. The backside guard pull, you kick out. Now for the Bears, they have a couple bodies coming in through here, through this A gap, and Hunt is still able to get this thing outside. And once he gets it outside, there's not a Bear defender. Now, second level, whoop, little dead leg. Kareem Hunt, an outstanding running back. So with the strengths and some weaknesses of Baker Mayfield, it's imperative that the Vikings get some pressure on him and force those decisions quickly. But you can't fall asleep on this outstanding 2-headed running game with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.